Well, so I can give you guys a rundown of what he said to seminar staff, and obviously I'm not going to give you guys any sensitive information. But he seems I'll be pretty straightforward. He seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. He seems first and foremost really passionate about being the CEO. At one point, he said that this was his dream job, and he has been like he would rather be doing nothing else in the world. Like this is something that he has looked to figuring out how to do since he got out of his company, Datalogics at Oracle. So he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders, especially for business sense, but I'm more interested to see if he can connect with the culture. He said that he's looking at CrossFit HQ, CrossFit Incorporated through 3 different lenses. One, the games. He said he would double, triple, or potentially quadruple the investment that we have going on with the games. And he didn't go into any specifics about that. But my major concerns, and I know that I have some other seminar staff people that share these concerns, is what does that look like for the messaging of the brand, and what does that look like for the optics that we've been trying to change for the past year and a half with the CrossFit Health initiatives and the CrossFit Science initiatives? What's going to happen to those things? We don't want to necessarily go back to emphasizing the sports and the competition aspect, but he didn't give too many details on what that means, if he meant like using it as a marketing tool or just reinforcing the event itself. So I'm going to keep my ruling on that kind of like neutral. The other thing that he was specifically talking about that he wanted to focus on was the affiliates. He thinks that without charging the affiliates more, that HQ should offer more support. He didn't go into any specifics other than like, for example, help in renegotiating their lease because of the pandemic. So he's like, things like that we could do to help affiliate owners in times of need, or like some sweeping broad best practices, sharing stuff like that. And in my back of my head, I'm like, this guy must be disconnected, because what have we been doing this entire time at Push Press? It's like we run a Facebook group, and that's all we do. Like there are multiple Facebook groups out there that share best practices. So I guess he's trying to centralize things at HQ for that. But in my mind, I'm like, that's not how HQ needs to help. HQ doesn't need to share best practices because we already do that. What do you guys
think? Have been calling for that. I mean, not a lot, but I can't tell like percentage wise, but I feel like there's been a lot of chatter about what we aren't getting from HQ.
Right.
Is communication, is best practices. So I think there's a fair amount of people that are looking for that help, and it doesn't have to be limited to one, just CrossFit. There can still be Push Press and your Two Brain and HQ. But I think for a lot of people, they're looking at HQ for some of that, and that's been lacking severely, I think.
I totally agree. I think that's the reason why so many other different brands or so many different other opportunities have filled the gap, because HQ has remained silent. I mean, they purposely designed their services that way so that others can step up. I mean, that's obviously what, open source opportunities are. They said, we're not going to offer X, Y, Z services. And everyone else was like, but we need those services. Guess what happens? Mentorship practices show up, best practice business protocols show up, finance, shows up, insurance strategies show up. I mean, all these things showed up because HQ chose not to do them. But like James said, there's so many affiliate owners that are like, we want more. We need more help.
They want more help, but that's the thing. They want more help for free. And for $3,000 a year, it's like
for their affiliation fee.
Yeah. What are you actually expecting for $3,000 a year? More direction, more guidance. It's like, so if you want the service that Two Brain provides, or that we provide, then you're going to have to pay HQ more. Or you could just take the money and give it to Two Brain. Like that's why I think HQ and Greg eventually chose to stay out of that realm. It's not that we can't do it. It's that we didn't want to. We saw more beneficial activity coming from the rest of the community. It's the same thing opening up to sanctionals. And now CrossFit as a sport, the sport of fitness, that might be better controlled by HQ. I don't know if it's more profitable, but I understand why they went with what they went with. I don't know if us doing it for free is feasible. I don't know the economics behind that. The guy seemed to think that it was feasible. So,
well, I think what was lacking was just a clear, like direct value prop. Yes, you get the name and the brand, but outside of that, it was pretty gray, right? In terms of what you get for your affiliation fees. And I think people were looking for more, but if you can, clearly identify these are the things, and this is directly how it's impacting the value you get, then I think more owners would be more accepting of that answer. And kind of a lack of an answer right now, in the past.
Right. So you're talking more specifically defined.
Like, what's your value you're getting out of your affiliate? Like, what's the value? Especially if we start to get back towards the games as away from health. Like, health was a great value because that's what we're preaching to our communities. But if we're preaching the one percenters of the world in the sport, we're losing value. No one wants to, no one's going to look like those people, or no one's going to be able to perform like those people. So if we get away from the health spectrum.
I think it's also like a re-education, like what from my understanding and experience with HQ and everything they've put out is it's all, been a shift towards more of a long-term play. And that's hard for most owners who are stuck in the day-to-day to understand what the value is because they can't cash it in right away.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? And there's a gap there of understanding.
Let me throw something in there real quick because I just want to, I disagree slightly with the gray area. There is a significant amount of affiliate owners that understand exactly what their affiliation agreement allows them to afford and where that value lies. And quite frankly, if there are affiliate owners that haven't read their affiliate agreement and know exactly what it's worth, what it covers and what it doesn't cover, they need to go back to the basics and realize that what they're paying for isn't what they think they're getting. And I think there's so much confusion. It's like, I pay $3,000. I should get A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And when the answer is actually, no, you shouldn't. Go back and look at what you signed year after year after year. You get, whatever. Like, we obviously go back and figure it out. Like, from a branding standpoint, you get a platform and you get exposure and you get a name that it's up to you to do something with. I know affiliates that are still running blogs and are still posting .com workouts and haven't complained for 10 years. But then I also know someone who opened less than 1 year ago that are demanding it goes back to the sport. So it's like in a free market, in an open source market, in an affiliation, which is not a franchise. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost. You pay through the nose for a franchise to include
people
franchise
don't know that.
affiliate
They
fees.
know what they know. They know their immediate situation.
No one, Greg's not capitalizing off of royalty fees and franchise fees and that would be a great Friday topic of like, hey, let's compare the Gold's Gym franchise and your liquidity and net worth versus opening a CrossFit. And here's your $3,000. Like,
that's possibly a shortcoming though, the communication between headquarters and their affiliates. Like, we see it on our ends, guys. Like, how many people complain about they're not saying anything, they're not helping us, they're not doing all this. Well, if they could just communicate what your affiliate actually meant, because those people obviously aren't reading through their affiliate and what that entails.
That's
so
not
if they communicated better. That's not on HQ to communicate better. That's on the affiliate owner to do their due diligence and knowing what they're buying.
They're signing an agreement. Yeah, they're signing legally binding contract. They need to read that and understand it 100%. Objectively, that's completely on the owner. But as far as the value that is perceived, we can make this as objective as possible. If you're paying the $3,000 a year, that is 20 members at $150. That's 20 members. So are you saying that your value as a CrossFit affiliate, are you saying that if you're a CrossFit affiliate, that you can bank on getting 20 members a year from having the name CrossFit in your gym? Absolutely. If you're not getting 20 members a year because of then you're in a place that's never heard of CrossFit. Like, I can't fathom $3,000 a year not being worth it.
Yeah, but you have to look at it from, you're looking at it very objectively, which is
Oh man, we lost them again.
There's a very practical side where, because of the barrier to entry is low, you're going to get a lot of people who don't have the same experience to just even read something, right? And knowing that there's a gap, and from the HQ perspective, because they're at the top, and this is their brand. If you see a gap in understanding, well, then your job is to fill that gap.
No, I disagree. I think
in terms of education,
that's personal responsibility. If you're going to open up your own business, you need to take it onto yourself. Like that's not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to open up a business tomorrow. Like, educate yourself on how to be a better business owner.
Absolutely. So
that responsibility doesn't fall to HQ. And if we're pointing the finger at HQ, then we're looking at greater societal issues of lack of personal accountability, lack of personal responsibility. Like, let's make sure that these business owners
there's a lot of that.
And there is, and we all agree on that. But let's make sure that these business owners, like, if we handhold them, they're never going to be successful.
Yeah.
Unless we end up doing far more work than what $3,000 is worth, and HQ will tank under the load of the resource demand.
The question is, do you let them fail, or do you teach them?
I was going to say, like, I know it's not their responsibility, but like, Eric, Zach, do you think they maybe could do a better job of communicating different things?
I think
not as even as responsible.
Like, I think HQ can be much better, and this is something that Eric Rosa, the incoming CEO, he did speak to. He's one of the things that he will focus on, and Dave Castro also piggybacked on this. There is going to be a huge internal change in communication, internally and externally, to both consumers and current affiliates. So I 100% agree that yes, they can be better at communicating.
Because honestly, like, I never hear from them. The only time I ever hear from them, I get a Christmas card or a holiday card.
Right.
And so, like, it would be nice to see, like, if they every now and then they send something just to give us kind of a direction of where the brand's going, and like, kind of, what they see for the future, or what's on the roadmap. That would be nice. They don't have to run my business for me. In fact, I don't want them to come in here and run my business.
Right.
Well, that's my disconnect.
Almost what I'm actually sending up the chain, and my personal recommendation is, like, let's put out a quarterly State of the Union address to all affiliate owners. Be like, hey, this is what's going on within the company. This is what's going on within the sport. These are our plans. Here are some objective metrics to measure the community. These are the affiliate stats across the world. Like, how many in each country. So it's like, I think the community deserves something like that. And again, that's something that I'm passing up, but I mean, there are no guarantees. There are no specifics like that coming down the chain, other than change is going to happen.
It's still too early, but I think the potential of change with the background that we know of Eric Rosa, I think it's exciting that there's another next chapter here.
So
like fresh air, right?
I want to touch on the third lens that he was talking about, because to me it's the most interesting and it's the most controversial. So the first one being the games.
Can I throw something out there real quick about what you just said? You know how you said a quarterly State of the Union? If we want to showcase two excellent examples of that, I'm sure we all follow them at this point, but Rogue and GoRuck both do phenomenal communication jobs, exactly like what TJ was looking for, as far as kind of the where, what, and who of the company, as far as the brand, where they're at, where they're going. Jason, obviously the owner of GoRuck, writes an annual, but also does a smaller quarterly, and Bill's emails are phenomenal. Like, you get pumped when you get Rogue emails about them, chasing down 100 employees, now chasing down 500 employees, now chasing down 1,000 employees, and bringing back American jobs to Ohio. Like, you get excited about their success, and you buy into the brand. With Jason, it was the same way. Like, he was so transparent with the company. He even shared his financials year over year over year, his wins and his losses. And when you can be humble and when you can show wins and failures, man, that's phenomenal. So I would agree 100%. I think that's some amazing feedback for Rosa to take up.
I think it should look something like and the thing with Rogue and GoRuck, those are companies that are communicating directly with their customers. I don't think HQ should look at affiliates as customers. They should look at them as stakeholders, as shareholders. So it would be like a shareholder update once a quarter. Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. And those are two great examples, Eric. Absolutely. So the first lens was the games, and he wants to invest more heavily into that. I don't know to what extent. The second level was the affiliates, saying that there should be more communication, more support towards the affiliates. And the third pillar, lens, whatever we want to call it, was what's the word? Clunkily named, or I don't know. He even said that he doesn't like naming it this. He doesn't have a name, but the consumer arm of CrossFit HQ. And this is, you can 100% tell this is coming from the businessman. This is coming from the veteran in the tech industry. He wants to bridge the gap between the people, the members that are currently in gyms, and the people who will never ever set foot in a gym. Or in a CrossFit box. And what he means is the people that are financially unable to, or at this point in time, psychologically unable to. They either don't like the atmosphere, they can't afford it, they're intimidated, or they've been turned off, or maybe they're a former member, but he still wants those people doing CrossFit. And his vague concept that he was alluding to was to build out these branded apps to do so. And he kind of made an analogy in comparison to Peloton. And this, to me, is a slippery slope. This is dangerous. He wants HQ staff or trainers around the world to run virtual classes, to give virtual programming through CrossFit HQ branded apps. And he didn't want to just talk about programming. He was talking about nutrition as well, and lifestyle coaching and mobility and everything. And I don't know how much of this is going to be gimmicky. I don't know how much of this is going to be done, but he literally said that there are millions of dollars on the table in this consumer arm that should be going to trainers, that people who want to make a career out of being a CrossFit coach can do so if they do it virtually correctly. And now I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, the last time I saw a Peloton class, I'm like, there's no good coach that's going to be able to do that for CrossFit. It's like, I don't think it's feasible to have the quality of coaching that we want to give people through a virtual setting. And it's like,
impossible.
You guys.
Well, just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it's not possible. And
but it hasn't been. I don't think it has. It's been
potential.
done because people realize it can't be done. I mean, so TJ, did you run some Zoom classes? What are your thoughts on that?
It was a good gap when I had to, because they weren't coming in here. But there was no way that I could give any kind of tactile, cue or anything. I could barely see them. So it's like, for me to coach how I would rather coach in here is impossible.
Yeah.
Well, but if you have the resource, like,
you're breaking up, James.
In the COVID gap, right? We're limited to we are limited to our camera and a microphone, and that's kind of it, right? But there's so much technological advances that we don't have access to yet, that maybe someone who has experience in tech can bring in. And I don't know, and again, this is all speculation, but if you have unlimited resources, let's just write a blank check for this, just hypothetically, then
which he actually said
there are potentials for there's potential here. It may or may not work out, but I think it can warrant exploration.
I think you could put people through a great workout via Zoom or online. But coaching well is different. It's not really coaching necessarily. It's like, hey, we're doing this, let's do it. And then you're like kind of trying to see people.
I think it's different, man. I think technology is going to change this.
Yeah. So
it's something that we don't even see yet, I think.
So there are two distinct worlds. I don't know if you guys can hear me. There are two distinct worlds that have been bridged slightly prematurely. But I mean, obviously we're all coaches on this call today. And so we understand the importance of, like TJ said, tactile cueing, the old school visual perspicuity cueing, the ability for you to be able to see faults and correct faults in the moment. Coaching in the moment is different than delivering programming via an app, right? So coaching in the moment, you can correct the mistake right there. Issuing programming via Trainer Eyes or True Coach, or whatever, which Eric was an early investor in True Coach. He sees the value of being able to deliver template-based, exercise group-based programming where the emphasis isn't placed necessarily on coaching. The emphasis is placed on delivering a product. And maybe that product isn't coaching yet. But there have been people that took the Zoom, like during COVID, to the next step. Rather than delivering a Zoom class, they were delivering one-on-one coaching live. So instead of me showing up to TJ at 5:30 p.m. for weightlifting, I Zoom with TJ live at 5:30, and he literally is watching me live, giving me those cues for my training session. It's still 1 hour of TJ's time. I still pay him for the service. And that was the way folks started to become coaches virtually versus programmers virtually. So to James's point, I think there's tech coming that's going to allow still for the connection human to human so that coaching can come back versus, hey, everyone, here's a group exercise app, do it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I see all that. I'm just
skeptical. Yeah.
I'm skeptical. I'm pessimistic, and I hate being pessimistic. I want to be optimistic, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's almost like the way that he was talking about it, he made it sound like the people who were running the Peloton classes, and I have no information on this stuff, they were making so much money. And he kind of made it sound like he wanted seminar staff to be able to do that, or the best trainers in the world to be able to do that, to be able to lead these 30, 50, 100-person classes virtually online. And maybe I'm way off base, but to be honest, I don't want those people making money. That's me. A personal opinion. It's like I don't want people delivering 300-person classes, 100-person classes, making bank because I don't know why. It just seems wrong to me.
I think it does compete directly against the affiliate, the local affiliate.
It goes against the coaching culture that we've developed as CrossFit.
Well, but in protecting the business, protecting each affiliate's business, because now you have a direct, on-demand digital competition up against your, brick and mortar business. But going back to your other point of, trying to galvanize your, I think there's a lot of potential that has been untapped. Again, I think everything that HQ has been saying so far in the way that they say it has been in general terms. And with, the games kind of taking a back seat, I think the excitement of CrossFit has faded.
Yeah.
It's not as sexy. And right or wrong, or better or worse, that sexiness, I think, spoke to a lot of people. To get them energized, to get them kind of excited about it.
See, I think it spoke to the vocal minority. I don't think you think about how many people aren't doing CrossFit because they think it's the games. It's more than the people that are doing CrossFit because they think it's the games.
Okay, so if you can reshape that message, but still make a focus to target that population. It doesn't have to be games specific, but it can be some type of creates excitement, some kind of service or offering or structure that creates that excitement, partnership deals, whatnot. But there's so much untapped potential, I think, that, again, just exploring it. Right now, there's a lot of things out there that can happen that haven't been touched yet. And I think it warrants that, we at least take a look at it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I do want to say this because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to Eric in the way that he delivered this stuff. I'm putting my own spin on it. And a lot of these are my personal opinions. He did say that he wants the word and the brand CrossFit to represent everybody that is currently doing CrossFit, from the person who is pre-diabetic, 300 pounds overweight, that just stepped foot into the box, all the way up to the CrossFit Games champion. The word CrossFit should be representative of all of that entire spectrum. And he's going to do his damnedest to make sure that it does. And that was one thing that I was like, okay, that's tremendous. And to speak to your other points, yes, I don't think he's trying to shift the focus necessarily or change the focus of CrossFit. I think he's trying to expand it. Right. And I think he'll do so intelligently. My personal reservation, again, the spin that I put on it, is that I don't think he is as quite in tune with the coaching culture that has been present on seminar staff. And that's really my only reservation, my concern. I'm eager to see what he can do elsewhere, though, for the company and the brand as a whole.
Yeah, that might change. That might change when he gets into it, Zach.
And I hope it does. Yeah, I hope it does.
Man, we can jam on this for a while, but let's let things play out. I'm sure we'll be revisiting this conversation maybe weekly, kind of at the pace that things are going.
I got more to say. I got a lot more to say.
TJ, you are so
TJ's pumped.
TJ is so smart about these things that I could listen to him talk about it for weeks.
But he's always so zen about it.
He's
always so zen about it.
He's not like I know I come off like I'm trying to push my opinion on people. Like TJ just presents it. He doesn't have an agenda behind it. I feel like I come off a little bit too opinionated sometimes.
Yeah, everyone, do yourself a favor. Go to KCAC and get yourself some TJ.
It's KSAC.
Yes.
KSAC.
James.
Man, you guys need to come up with an acronym that rolls off the tongue a little bit better.
KSAC. KSAC.
KSAC.
The sack, baby.
On that note, we'll include TJ's scheduling link for his one-on-one appointments at the gym.
Don't take my 5:30 spot.
And you can reach him on Slack somewhere.
Let's go.
All right. That was a good chat. Yeah, I definitely think we should revisit this topic as more
excited to have this
information presents itself. Yeah, me too.
I think we all have slightly different, opinions on it, so it's pretty cool. It's like everyone's like you and Eric are deep into that coaching culture, old school CrossFit. I'm kind of in between. I'm kind of I don't know. I'm kind of let's communicate more. I don't know. It's different.
It's good. I think it's going to spark a lot of new ideas and maybe new kind of untapped passion. If there's ways to be more involved. So I think this is definitely an exciting time now, whereas 2 weeks ago it might not have been as exciting, at least in a good way.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I definitely would agree that the change is necessary. I'm just my final thought on it would be that I hope that the individuals who screamed the loudest for change will at least allow enough time to see this through and provide a framework for constructive feedback, because there were hundreds, if not over 1,000 people that were like, F this, I'm out. And then there was another 1,000 that was like, I'm not quite sure I'm out, but I want change. So I mean, look at the speed with which change occurred. And we all know that change management is challenging. So let's see, let's be, guarded optimism, I guess we can say.
Yeah.
Can you agree on that?
Great point. It's a great point.
All right, guys, let's wrap that up before we go over our full 10 minutes, which we have by a long shot. As always, if you have anything to contribute to the conversation, from here, we don't hold anything back. So if you guys want to talk about something, if you have
anything to contribute to the conversation,
yeah,
zero.
Yeah,
cut out. We're
starting a GoFundMe for James' internet.
It was great.
West Coast, man.
You're gonna have a great time editing this. I swear. You're gonna hate life. Oh, man.
I'm gonna cut all you guys out.
Oh, it's gonna be
zero.
We're
all
all right, guys. Talk to you later.
I'm on
a flight to Arizona for my first seminar back in weeks. So wish me luck this weekend.
Good luck, man. Enjoy.
I will.
Later.
All right, later, guys.
Enjoy your weekend.
Later, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure you like our channel, subscribe, and check out our other videos right here.